Namaste student, welcome to my class. This is Information Technology for class 10, subject code 402. Today we are going to focus part A, Employability Skills, Unit 1, Communication Skills. So as we discussed earlier, there are two parts in Information Technology. So far we would have learned Part B 3 unit has been covered. Now we are going to see Part A, that is in Employability Skills, Unit 1, Communication Skills. Let me move to the lesson. Children, these are the topics which are going to focus today. The topics are introductions about communication, communication cycle, methods of communications, and feedback. Let me see all these topics one by one. What is communications? The word communications comes from the Latin word communicare, which means to share. So why do we communicate? Exchange of information by signs and signals, speaking, writing, or using some other medium and means is called communication. So communication skills is very important in any occupations or business. As a student, you may study any language, but it is important that you are able to read, write, speak and listen well in order to communicate properly. Speaking more than one language can help you to communicate well with the people around the world. So learning English can help you to communicate with people who understand English besides the mother tongue. So being able to communicate effectively is one of the most important life skills. So communication skills are needed to communicate effectively with people and customers. So in this chapter we are going to see how to improve your communication skills. The next topic is about important parts of communications. There are three important parts in communication: transmitting, listening, feedback. So what is transmitting? The sender transmits the message through one medium or another. That is what transmitting. So if I say something, it can be reached to others. That is called transmitting. Listening. The receiver listens or understand the message. When I am saying something, it will reach you. No, that is called listen. You are able to hear. Your hearing means that is listening. The last one, feedback. The receiver conveys the understanding of the message to the sender in the form of feedback to complete the communication cycle. So when I say something, I will get the feedback from the receiver is called what? Feedback. So these are the important parts of communications. Next one, communication cycle. Communication cycle is a process by which a message is sent by one individual and it passes through a chain of recipients. The timing and effectiveness of communication cycle is based on how long it takes for feedback to be received by the initial sender. So in communication cycle, there are so many elements will be involved in a communication cycles. So what is a communication cycle? It's a process by which a message is sent by one individual and it passes through chain of recipients. If I am saying something, if you want to convey something to means in my class there is 39 students will be there. So it will be reached to all 39 students. How long it will take to reach all the students? That is called what? Communication cycles. So if you pass one message to one person and then it will reach to another person, so it is called what? Communication cycles. So what are the elements are involved in this communication cycles? Sender, message, encoding, channel, receiver, decoding, the last one, feedback. These are the elements of communication cycles. So what is sender? the person or entity who originating the communications. Sender means who is initially initiating the message, who is conveying the message is called sender. Next one, message, the information that the sender wishes to convey. So what are the content they want to convey, that is what message. Encoding, how the sender chooses to bring the message into a form appropriate for sending. So what is encoding? In what way, what language we are using, what medium we are using to convey the information to other. It's called what? Encoding. So what kind of informations, what kind of forms we are going to convey to others, it's called encoding. Channel. Channels mean by which the message is sent. Channel means what message I am going to send to others is called channel. Receiver, the person or entity whom the message is sent. So if I am sending means I am the sender, who is receiving my message is called receiver. Decoding, how the receiver interprets and understand the message. So if I am saying something means they know the meaning, means they can be understood in what way, it's called what? Decoding. Feedback, the receiver's response to the message. So how the receiver responds to my message is called feedback. They say okay, I understood me, that is what? Your feedback. These are the basic elements involved in a communication cycle. So here I given a diagram for understanding of the communication cycle. So here sender sends a message to receiver. So the channel is used to transfer the message. So you can use any kind of channel like a medium, air mediums. So if I am sending means it will be reach audible means that is called what? If I am using mobile means that is also one of the channels. So message is received by the receiver. If I am saying some message, it will be received by whom? Receiver. So receiver then replies to the sender. So once I convey message, it will be reached to receiver. So once the receiver got the message, it will be replied to the sender like okay, I understood, I will come. They will respond some information. No, that is what? Receiver. Then again the communication start with the sender. These are the communication cycles. Next one, methods of communications. There are 4 methods of communications: verbal communication, non-verbal communication, visual communication and written communication. These are the 4 methods of or 4 styles of communications. The first one, verbal communications. The verbal communications includes sounds, words, language and speech. So what is verbal communication? The verbal communications includes sounds, words, language and speech. Everything can be involved in a verbal communications. What we are doing now, I am taking lesson to students means that is called what? Verbal communication, which involves sounds will be there, words are there, language is there and they used to speech continuously to others is called what? Verbal communication. So speaking is one of the most effective and commonly used way of verbal communication. It helps in expressing our emotions in words. So verbal communication is used to express our emotions in terms of words. So here I given one picture. So somebody, they are taking interview of other students is called what? Verbal communication. So here I given some types of verbal communications. The first one, interpersonal communications. What is the first type of verbal communication is? Interpersonal communications. This form of communication takes place between 2 individuals and is thus one-on-one conversation. So what is interpersonal means? It takes place in between 2 persons, 2 individual, that is one-to-one conversations. Can be informal or informal. For example, a manager discussing the performance with an employee, 2 friends discussing about the homeworks, 2 people talking to each other over phone or video call. It's called what? Interpersonal communications. The next type of verbal communication is written communication. These forms of communications involves writing words. So as the name indicates, written communications. So this form of communications involves writing words. It can be letters, circulars, reports, manuals, SMS, social media chats, etc. So all the kinds of written form of message sending is called what? Written communications. It can be between two or more people. So in our WhatsApp group also one of the types of written verbal communications. Example, the manager writing an appreciation email to an employee. So this employee writing a leave letter to the manager is also kind of the written communications. The next one, small group communications. The next type is small group communication. This type of communication takes place when there are more than two people involved in the conversations. So each participants can interrupt and converse with the rest of the people. Example, press conference, board meeting and team meeting. So some higher people can alone able to converse. The message is called what? Small group communication. So some small amount of people can make a conversation is called what? Small group communications. What are the advantages and disadvantages of verbal communications? Advantages are it saves time, it saves money, feedback, quickness, most convenient method, then easy to prepare the conversations. These are the main advantages of verbal communication. Disadvantages are chances of distortions in meaning, not convenient for long messages, irrelevant information, misunderstanding and communication costs. These are the disadvantages of using the verbal communications. So in what way it saves times? The verbal form of communication helps you to quickly send intended message for saving time. So it saves also money. So no requirement of paper and designing spell checks. So if you want to say something, I can easily convey to others. So no need of money. So no requirement of paper writings and spell checking, etc. The next one, feedback quickness. Feedback quickness. So instantly I get the feedback from the receiver. That is what? Feedback quickness. Most convenient method. If you want to say something to others means I can instantly get this message from the others. That is most convenient method. The people prefer more verbal communication due to the convenience factor. While communicating verbally, you are more likely to convey matters simply in plain understandable language, which is widely preferable. Next one, the last one, ease of preparations. So oral communication is the easiest way of communication. It does not require any preparation of any material. So no need to prepare any material for this easy of preparations. And what about the disadvantages? Chances of distortions in meanings. So due to presence of the various barriers in effective communications, it may happen that the intended meaning of the message changes for the persons, with causes of lot of problems in the future. So whatever they want, whatever they get in mind, they will be conveyed to others. So they may get misunderstanding while they are speaking in front of others. Next one, not convenient for long messages. So it's not convenient for the long messages. So it is not at all convenient to convey long messages orally, as it may happen that by the time message is completed. So if they want to convey a big thing, big messages means they may get forgot. So they have to write something. So it's not convenient for the long messages. Next one, irrelevant informations. So while having an important discussion, a lot of irrelevant informations can be happen during these conversations, so leading to waste of times and gap in the relevant informations. And the next one, misunderstanding. Usually it will be happen in a verbal communication. I can say something in some other in my point of view, but the receiver can be reached in a other point of view. So it may be happen misunderstanding. The last one, communication cost. So sometimes verbal communication can be really expensive if you need to communicate in a language. So I know only my mother tongue, but the people know only some other language, say any Latin words. So for the time, I need some mediator to translate. So for this time, we need a communication cost. These are the advantages and disadvantages of verbal communications. The next methods of communication is non-verbal communications. So what is non-verbal communications? Non-verbal communication is the uses of body language, gestures and facial expressions to convey information to others. It can be intentional or unintentional. So non-verbal communication is helpful when trying to understand others' thoughts and feelings. So we send signals and messages to others through expressions, gestures, postures, touch, space, eye contact and paralanguage. So for this we can use what? Non-verbal communication. So in this non-verbal communication, no need of speech, words. So we can express all the things by using the body language, gestures and expression of the face, postures, touch. Like this we can use what? Non-verbal communications. So here given this one picture which shows the importance of non-verbal communications. In our day-to-day communication, 55% communication is done using a body movement, face, arms, etc. 38% communication is done using voice, tone and pauses, etc. Only 7% of communication is done using the words. So from this picture we came to know the importance of the non-verbal communication. So the huge percentage of people are using what? Non-verbal communications. So here I given some types of non-verbal communications. First one, facial expressions, postures, gestures or body language. So what is facial expressions? Our expressions can show different feelings such as happiness, sadness, anger, surprise, fear, etc. If your school declare holiday means you can say what? Your face will become very happy. That time from the face itself we can able to read the people's feelings. That is called what? Facial expressions. The next one, posture. Postures shows our confidence and feelings, etc. For example, a straight body posture shows confidence, while slumped posture is a sign of weakness. If I feeling dull means my face look very dull. If I feeling sick means my body also becomes so dull. My shoulders become down. So by that you came to know the people will be in sick. So keep your shoulders always straight and body is to be relaxed. So when you are going for any interview and you are going to meet someone means you have to be sit straight while resting your hands and feet in relaxed positions. Okay. While standing, keep your hands by your sides. You should not do anything on your hands. So it makes you a unperfect talk. It not shows that you are more confident. So from that posture, people can able to read how you people being confident or not. The next one, gestures or body language. So some people say oh, like this. No, they can shake your shoulder, they can change your hands, shake your heads like this. So gestures include body movements that express an idea or meanings. For example, if you are raising hands in class to ask questions and biting nails and when nervous. So when you are being nervous, some people may do what? They are biting the nails. Or they can use to do, if they really well understand means they can shake your heads. From that shaking heads we can able to know the people can understand the concept. So keep your hands, so what you have to do? So keep your hands to be open, avoid pointing a finger at people. So you should not pointing the finger at the people. Next one, tilt your head a bit to show that you are attentive. So you should be tilt your head. So if you are listening class means should be response like you tilting your head a bit to show that you are attentive in the class. The next type is touch. So we communicate a great deal through touch. For example, a firm handshake to display the confidence, and a pat on the back to encourage someone. So if you want to encourage someone, come on, you can pat on the back. No, that is what for encouraging someone. So shake hands firmly while meeting someone. So when you're meeting someone, some higher position, what you have to do? So you have to shake your hands. So avoid other touch gestures during formal communication. So when the people are somewhat higher position, you should not be touch the people. That is not to be allowed in a non-verbal communication. Next one, space. Space is a physical distance between two people. So you have to maintain some space between the people. So the space between two persons while communicating generally depends on the intimacy or closeness of the peoples. So you have to maintain some distance. If you have higher authority means you have to maintain some more distance. If you have close friends means you will not maintain a distance between the two friends, right? So that is also space also one of the non-verbal communication. So you have to maintain proper space depending on the relationship, which could be formal or informal, or the closeness with the persons with whom you are talking. Yeah, the peoples are too close to you means you may not make a space between them. The peoples are very new to me, maintain a distance between them. No, that is called what? One of the non-verbal communication. Next one, eye contact. So eye contact one of the most important things in the non-verbal communications. The way we look at someone can communicate a lot, right? If I'm being very angry means my eyes will be open, blinking like this. No, so eye contact is one of the most important thing in a non-verbal communications. So eye contact shows that we are paying attention to the persons as opposed to looking away, which can make the other persons feel ignored. So from the eye itself we can able to understand the people are attentive or not. Okay, so look directly at the person who is speaking. So who are speaking with you should be look at the people directly. So avoid staring. So you should not be use staring to the others. So keep your relaxed look. You should be look very in a relaxed manner. Maintain eye contact with the intermittent breaks. So you have to maintain the eye contact in the intermittent way. Next one, para language. So how we speak affects our communications and includes the tones, speeds and volume of your voice. This is called what? Para language. If you are speaking someone, our communications and includes the tones, voice tones. If you are being very anger means my voice tones will be high. So how I'm speaking very fast or not, how volume will be raised or not. That is also comes under the para language types of non-verbal communication. For example, talking fast may show happiness, excitement or nervousness, while speaking slow may show the seriousness of sadness. Okay, if I'm speaking slow means I'm being very sad, I'm being very sick. So the everything you should be taken, use your suitable tone and volume, then maintain a moderate speed while talking with the others. These are the different types of non-verbal communications. The types are facial expression, posture, body language, touch, space, eye contact and para language. These are the different types or methods of non-verbal communications. What are the advantage and disadvantage of non-verbal communications? Advantages are complementary, easy presentation, substituting, reducing wastage of time. These are the advantages of verbal communication. Disadvantages very vague. It's like a very vague and imprecise, continuous, multi-channel, culture bound, long conversations are not possible. So in non-verbal communication, long conversation will not be possible. So complementary, what is complementary? Non-verbal complements a verbal message by adding to its meaning. So here we can add a complement to the verbal messages. For example, if I'm saying something, if I'm being very excitement, my face will be look very happy. I can use my what eyes, face expression shows what it will be additional, adding additional conversation or understanding to the other peoples. Next one, easy presentation. Easy presentations mean informations can be easily presented in a non-verbal communications using visual, audio visuals and silent means of non-verbal communication. Next one, substituting. Non-verbal messages may substitute for the verbal messages. So message may substitute with the verbal messages. Sometimes we can't able to say something, but we can use a face reaction to convey others. Okay, so I'm being so far from others, I want to convey something, I want to stop them. What can I do? I can show my hands like this to stop them, no? So I can substitute in place of verbal messages non-verbal messages. Next one, reducing wastage of time. The message of non-verbal communication reaches the receiver very fast, so we can easily save our time. So non-verbal communications like sign and symbols can also be communicating some messages very quickly than written or oral messages. Okay, so without saying, without writing something, we can using the non-verbal communications like your face reactions, postures like this, it will be reach others to in a very fast manner. That is what reducing wastage of time. Disadvantages, vague and imprecise. So non-verbal communication is quite vague and imprecise, since in this communication there is no use of words or language. So here we cannot use a language and words, so it could be very vague for the listeners. Next one, continuous. It is possible to stop talking in verbal communication, but it's generally not possible to stop non-verbal communications. So here in verbal communication we can stop the words, but in here in non-verbal we can't able to stop the communications because we are using only face reaction, so we can't be able to stop at the time. Next one, multi-channel. So while watching someone's eyes, you may miss something significant in a hand gestures. So the entire body able to communicate something. So when I'm seeing the receiver seeing eyes, they may miss the hand expression. So they can miss the multi-channel they can use. No. So the listener has to see everything. So everything has been happening at once, and therefore it may be confusing to keep up with everything. Culture bound. Non-verbal communication is learned in childhood, passed on to you by your parents and others with whom you associate. Few other cases seem to be universal. So evidence suggests that humans of all cultures smile when happy and from them unhappy. So culture bound means, so say in Tamil culture students may know some expression for doing something, but other language students may know some other expressions, right? Face expressions will be a little bit different. So that is also one of the disadvantage of non-verbal communication. So it will be differs on the different cultures. Okay, so some other culture people cannot be able to understand what they are saying other culture people. That is one of the disadvantage of non-verbal communication. The last one, long conversation are not possible. So in non-verbal communication, the long conversation necessary explanations it's not possible. It can be very short message only can able to say by using the non-verbal communications. The next one, visual communications. Visual communication is the act of using photographs, videos, art, drawing, sketches, charts and graphs to convey informations. Visuals are often used as an aid during presentation to provide helpful context alongside written or verbal communication. Since people have different learning styles, visual communication might be more helpful for some to consume ideas and informations. So visual communication proves to be effective since it involves interchanging messages only through images or pictures, and therefore you don't need to know any particular language for understanding. There is a main advantage of using visual communication. So you may not use any words, you may not use any pictures, any body expression. You can use either pictures, sketches, drawing by convey your thoughts to others. So I have given some example pictures for visual communications. So when I am When you're going on the roadside, you can see many signboards, right? No parking board, U-turns, school ahead, school prone zone. These are the examples of visual communication. So visual communications also used for exchanging information through the images. The first one under constructions. So here I given some example pictures for the visual communication. The first one under construction, no parking zone, danger warning, under CC surveillance. In our school we have a lot of visual communications, right? So in our school we have under CCTV surveillance, no mobile phones, radiations, biohazard warnings, no entry, no pet alerts. These are the some of the examples what we can see in our surroundings. And last one is about written communications. So written communication is a set of or act of writing, typing or printing symbols like letters and numbers to convey information. It is helpful because it provides a record of information for reference. So it is very useful. Why? Because we can maintain a record of information for your future reference. So writing is commonly used to share information through books, pamphlets, blogs, letters, memos, emails, SMS and more. So emails and chats are common form of written communications in the workplace. Okay, this is about what? Written communications. So written communication means by writing we can able to communicate others. Those who are not able to talk, what they can use? They can use writing. They can take the paper and write something and they convey the message to others. That is called what? Written communications. What are the advantages and disadvantages of written communication? Permanent record. The first advantage is permanent record, meticulous presentations, easy circulation, suitable for statistical data and promotes goodwill. These are the main advantages of written communication. The disadvantage is time consuming. For everything we have to write, so we have to spend a lot of time for written communication. Non-flexible. So it's not flexible. So no, all the peoples cannot able to do this in such a manner, so it is not flexible to all the people. No scope for clarifications. There is no scope for the clarification of the communication. The next one demands writing proficiency. So in writing we must be write in a very proficient way, must be in a correct way. Otherwise some people may find the errors in the communications. Next, probability of wrong interpretation. So we will get a lot of wrong interpretations in the while we are communicating by using the written copy. Next one, feedback. Feedback is a final component and one of the important factors in the process of communication. It is defined as the response given by the receiver to the sender. The sender needs response of the receiver in order to decide effectiveness of communication. So feedback can be negative or positive. So feedback is a final component. So when I say something, it will be reached to receiver. So when the receiver maybe understand or not, that is called what? Feedback. So when I am saying something, what is A plus B? So A equal to 5, B equal to 6. What is A plus B? What is the answer? 11. So that is called what? Feedback from the receiver. So feedback is a final component and one of the important factors in the process of communication. It is defined as a response given by the receiver to the sender. So the sender needs a response of the receiver in order to decide effectiveness of the communication. So how the sender may know, how the people can able to understand by the feedback only they can able to get the content can be reached or not to the receiver. So feedback is an important part of the communication cycle. For effective communication, it is important that the sender receives an acknowledgement from the receiver about getting the message across. So while a sender sends information to the receiver, provides a feedback on the received message, it's called what? Feedback. So the feedback can be negative or positive. What are types of feedback? Positive feedback, negative feedback, no feedback. What is positive feedback? I noticed you finished the work perfectly. Great job. If I'm saying something, no. So whatever thing you're doing, so I noticed you finished the work perfectly means what? That is kind of the positive feedback. The next one, I really appreciate you taking that call. Can you please also share the details? It is also one of the positive feedback. Very good. Well done. These are the some of the positive feedback. Then what about negative feedback? You keep forgetting to smile at the hotel guest when you talk to them. So they are criticizing something to the receiver is called what? Negative feedback. So you keep forgetting to smile at the hotel guest when you talk to them. That is also one of the negative feedback. So your voice is not audible to me. What I was saying is not able to understand to me. These are the types of negative feedback. Next one is a no feedback. Some people in present they keep on saying conveying something, but there is no feedback from the receiver. That is called what? No feedback. They are simply ideally sitting in the same place. They don't want to say something. They can say no command. They can say no command. So this is also the feedback in itself, which indicates disagreement of ideas. They are not saying anything. The receiver doesn't say anything means that is called what? No feedback. The sender keep on sending messages to receiver, but receiver side they are not talking anything. They are not conveying anything. That is called what? No feedback. So it is also a feedback in itself, which indicates disagreement of ideas. It's called no feedback. What are the types of feedback? Specific feedback, general feedback, descriptive feedback. So what is specific feedback? It provides detailed or specific information on where the student did well or not so well. So we provide specific information. So well done, your handwriting is very neat. You have to improve yourself. So we have specifically say something about the people is called what? Specific feedback. Next one, general feedback. On the other hand, it is very non-specific, such as good job, you did great. So generally we can say no. That is called what? General feedback. The next one, descriptive feedback. So we are saying something in a descriptive manner is called what? Descriptive feedback. It's a specific information in the form of written comments or verbal conversations that help the learner understand what she or he needs to do in order to improve. So descriptive feedback is the most powerful tool for improving the student learning. So descriptive feedback is also a specific information in the form of written communications or verbal communication. These are the types of feedbacks in the communications. What are the importance of feedbacks? It validates effective listening. The person providing feedbacks knows they have been understood and that their feedback provides some value. So it motivates, feedback can motivate people to build a better work relationship and continue the good work that is being appreciated. It is always there. Every time you speak to a person, we communicate feedback, so it is impossible not to provide one. So it is always there. So we always feedbacking to others. It boosts learning. So when you are giving feedback, then only it will boost the learning. If I doing something, if you appreciate now, you will be learn more things. So feedback is important to remain focused on goals, plan better and develop improved products and services. The last one, it improves the performance. Feedback can help to form better decisions to improve and increase performance. So if they say something mean, if you appreciate mean, it will be improve the performance of the whole level. So these are the importance of feedbacks. So children, with these slides we came to the end of the sessions. So we saw about the communication skills, communication cycles and methods of communication and feedback in these sessions. In the next session we are going to see about barriers for effective communications and types of sentences and types of speech we are going to see in the next sessions. The homework classwork file will be posted in your group. So try to complete all the homework and classwork on time and submit next week. Thank you children.